Alright, go.
Hello and welcome to the first broadcast, the first official broadcast of e-Revolution, Electronic Revolution Broadcasting Company. Tonight we will be covering the Total Gaming League WIC tournament sponsored by MyIz Internet Service. Tonight we have a battle between two. We have a battle between two teams. We have the 51st Parachute Division for the Soviet side of things, and over on the USA side of things we have the 186th Infantry Regiment. So earlier today they've been in battle and they've picked their top 6 players for each side. Now they're going to go at it for 2 maps, Farmland and Hometown. First map tonight will be Hometown, but first let's give you a quick rundown of what WIC is. WIC is short for World in Conflict. This new RTS game coming out being published by Sierra, 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 being developed by Massive Entertainment. And how it differs from other traditional RTSs is that it's focused on team play. There is no base building. There's not much resource management. Rather, it's focused on combat. It's really centered around that. In the 6v6 or 5v5 format, a player can only have 4 or 5 units at a time, and from that, he has to decide which is the best course to take. He picks his role, either support, infantry, armor, or air, and he goes at it. What does his team need? What does he need to do? Each role has its advantages, disadvantages. Infantry being an all-powerful role, doesn't have the speed on it, and the fact that they're infantry leaves them vulnerable to artillery, but they are very effective against tanks with AT rounds and effective against air units. Armor, on the other hand, has speed and range on their side, but they are at the mercy of almost every other faction. Support, just as its name entails, repair tanks, coverage, and finally you have air. Air players in 5v5 or 4v4 combat, you won't really see that many of them coming in on top, but what you will see is them doing some crucial role. Medium AA is probably the best form of anti-aircraft in this game, but also heavy AAs dealing with the tanks. I'm going to go ahead and spin the mic over to
well, so far, you know, my views on World in Conflict, I picked it up about a week ago. I saw the open beta, and I figured I'll give it a try. It looks impressive so far. I've watched the trailer before, you know, the beta was actually released, and it looked impressive from the beta. I got in the game, you know, I was figuring, you know, I might get disappointed, and as soon as I started playing, I noticed the first thing you might notice on this when you start playing it, I don't know if you can tell over the cast, but you should, that the detail and stuff is just amazing. Now when I'm getting into spectating mode and I'm actually going through, you know, like I was mentioning to Connor and the rest of the guys, I went through the actual town in Hometown, on the Hometown map, and the detail on the stores is exact. Like, there's one that had just a little tiny filing cabinet right there, and just the overall just graphical detail of the game, it just impressed me the most. Like, if you get to see it later on in the night, there's napalm strikes, courtesy of artillery. There's nukes involved. It's just a very impressive graphical game. Now when I got into the actual gameplay, it got even better because it's more team play oriented, and I've played many RTSs that, you know, I get rushed or I can't micro fast enough that I can't, you know, beat these upper players. Anybody can hop into this game and basically compete at a good level, you know, that they might lose, you know, if you're new to the game, but at least it'll be a little close thing. And, you know, not having to gather resources like Connor said is another great thing. It runs off of a point system based on how many troops you have and how many you can spawn and stuff. I just think it's a really great game and has a whole lot of potential.
Yeah, as trippletwenty is saying, you know, there isn't that much resource management. I guess you could say there is a little resource management with your pool of money. You're only allowed in the more players you have, the fewer units you can actually use, and you have to make wise decisions. You know, if you're only allowed to have 4 tanks on the field, are you going to be able to mix and match, have a few light tanks, a few heavy tanks? You got weigh your options. Do I want speed, or do I want firepower, or do I need something to take care of infantry with medium tanks? And same goes for the other roles, such as support. Do I want to just focus on heavy artillery, bombard the rest of the map, or do I want to follow my teams with heavy anti-aircraft and repair tanks? That's a constant struggle. That's a constant thing that comes up. But another great thing they have in this game is tactical abilities, TA for short, which really increases gameplay speed. It makes sure no one just sits back and does nothing. You have a whole range of tactical abilities. Triple-20, you want to give a rundown of what you can do?
Yes, there. Like as Connor mentioned in the beginning of the cast when he was mentioning the different roles. You start out. There's infantry, like you said, they're weak against medium tanks, light tanks, and mostly other ground units, but they can be effective if you take regular standard infantry against helicopters and stuff. They have rocket launchers they can use that can lock onto them and take down the helicopters good. Also, if you pick infantry, they can take out other infantry as well, but they have a problem with snipers because snipers can outshoot them long range, so they'll get picked off. If you take anti-tank units, they'll be able to blow up your tanks and your armored vehicles very easily. But if other ground units come in or air units come in, they can't do anything about it. Then when you swing over into air is good, against ground and tanks, depending on. And then if you take medium helicopters, they're good against heavy helicopters as well because they have Sidewinder missiles as a special ability. They block onto the other helicopters and cause a lot of damage, and you can fire those off very quick. If you can get a group of 6, which I've found out that works pretty good, and you can actually just basically eradicate any other helicopters on the field with just those 6 using the Sidewinder missiles and some chain gun fire in between. Then you kick it over onto the armor side, which can basically just cap your points as much as you can, and then take a beating from any air stuff. But once other infantry, and then if you have heavy tanks and medium tanks, they can come in and roll out your infantry, and they can just blow up other tanks. And then support, heavy support I found that works the best. They can stay in the back of the battlefield, just basically out of any fighting at all, and they can just start launching these missiles into the battlefield, just helping out their armor and their infantry move up into the, battlefield. But the problem with them is if air swings around, which air can get through those armor and stuff, they can get into the back of support and take out those heavy infantry with ease. So the real great thing about this game is the graphics-wise, it's great, and the team play is great, and also another thing to comment on is just how even the game is matched. It makes really close battles, and you'll see a lot of, hopefully we'll see close ones tonight. I played one the other day in just the pub server. It was, really close. It almost went 50-50 either way, and we were there the whole time. We were pushing into Southtown, and then all of a sudden the Russians would come back, take it back, and we would just keep going back and forth, and then, then artillery comes into a big play, and it's just so many multiple fronts for this game. It's a really great thing.
Alright, we have a minute until we go live with the actual match, so let's go ahead and give you guys a quick rundown of the map. Tonight's map is Hometown. Well, we're going to go through Hometown and Farmtown, but Hometown first. I'll go ahead and open up my mega map, and what you find is over, you have the gas station over on the left side of the map, the sawmill to the right side. These would be 2 heavily contested areas if the bridges around the middle of the map are taken out. Sawmill usually goes to the Russians, and gas station usually goes to the Americans. I'm going to hand it over to 87 to go ahead and finish off giving you this map run.
Yeah, basically I see this map as a pretty fast-paced map because the town in the middle is a lot of your action in the middle, and a lot of your focus is getting infantry in there, getting them in buildings, getting them in trees, and it looks like we're going to go live here any second now as the counter goes down. But basically you got to remember this: the circles are just like flags in like BF2 or any CTF game you've done, where you got to get on them and turn them to your color in order to win the map. The circles are just like BF2, basically, how you take down that flag and then turn it to your side. And if you stay on the circle, it builds 3 different, I guess, defensive points around the edge of the circle. So that's how we're looking to win each map, and that's how these guys are going to look to move on and win this whole round here first. And we're actually going to go on, it looks like farmland, right?
I'm sorry about that. Looks like we are going to start farmland, another simple wide open map. Just flip the mic over to Shanks right now. It's going to give you a bits and pieces of information.
Yeah, that's right. This is Shanks on board with you. I'm going to be kind of behind the scenes tonight, watching the stream as well as the rest of you viewers out there. Stream looks good right now, but want to mention that this cast is a Total War World in Conflict that's going on right now. It's sponsored by myinternetservices.com. We thank them for giving us the opportunity to be doing a cast on this. We have from what I hear, the two best teams out there. It's the 186th Infantry versus the 51st Parachute or Paratroops. But anyways, if you guys want to get involved with the cast, get on IRC. Our IRC channel is #E-rev on the Game Surge Network, and we would be more than happy to get your shout-outs live and on the air when we get some time. But we got just a couple seconds before the match is going to go live here, so I want to hand it over to the rest of the guys. Connor, why don't you get us started?
All right, it looks like we've already gone live. Looks like sorry about that. All right, getting back to the action. It looks like the Russians have already put...
All right, go live.
All right, sorry about that. Had to run a commercial there. All right, looks like the Russians have already pushed across the main bridge pretty heavily, and they've secured the center bridge. I can't give you the exact... It looks like Inti has just pushed across the bridge, and he's secured both points with heavy tanks. He's making his way across to the Duster hangar, where the U.S. side is putting up quite a fight right now, and there's a few AAAs over there. Nothing much happening. Looks like it's fallen to the U.S. side. And the farm, I believe that's East Farm, has also been taken by the U.S. So it's a pretty even match right now, but the U.S. are taking momentum. I'm going to hand it over to 87 to bring you up to speed with more action.
Yeah, a lot of that action right now is over at that airport, and the Russians are in those heavy anti-air airs, and they are just sitting there picking off the medium choppers that are coming across those Cobras, which can't really do much against the anti-air at all without any heavy support or tank support. So what they're going to do right now is the AA looks like they're dropping back, and they're going to bring in some heavy choppers over at airport, see if they can't take down some of those. It looks like they're going to go for that flag here. They're hitting the actual fortifications over there with Arty right now.
It looks like I'm just following these Russian heavy hinds. They're trying to circle around. I think they're going hunting for any heavy artillery, and if they keep going on their present course, they're going to come across two heavy artillery positions on the back of the map. I'm following them. Yes, they are going to go for the flank. We have, looks like it was a cluster bomb right near the bridge, just taking out a few Allied tanks, a few U.S. tanks, and the bridge is still in the Russians' hands. The Americans heavily fortifying the North Farm. The crop refinery is still being held by a lot of infantry now. I'm just counting a few infantry divisions that are up there holding that steady. But right now, most of the action is focused really around the crop hangar and the bridge, and it looks like, yes, the heavy helicopters came through. They took down one AA, but they're subdued by a AAA, so one heavy artillery unit is left. And it's just going to sit back there, but it looks like we have medium anti-air vehicles being pushed up onto this onto the crop hangar right now, but I'm not sure if they're going to even be able to make a dent in this defense. There's a few tanks around the area, and they've completely fortified it, and there we go. A few Russian heavy artillery rounds come in and say goodbye to those gun emplacements along with those tanks, but here comes some support with the Cobras, and it does look that the USSR is taking firm advantage of their hold on the middle bridge. The U.S. is still does have flag control right now, but I think it's a glitch on my screen. It says they are ticking away, but it doesn't look like it. So the match is pretty even. The Russians do have the flag majority right now. I'm going to flip this over to trippletwenty. All right, what do you see?
Right now, I'm just seeing most of the action on the U.S. side. Right now, North Farm's basically controlled by them. They're not getting any conflict over there at all. You're looking at middle right now through the 2 bridge spots. It's held by Russians right now. They got some heavy helicopters going right through the area, just patrolling, making sure no tanks all of a sudden come through. But, you know, most of the conflict right now is just going on at airstrip. You got a couple heavy anti-airs coming in there. You got, that's 1 medium anti-air, and you have some, that is heavy artillery over the river right there. So they're just trying to work their way into airstrip and possibly get a flank, come up, and then just be able to swarm around North Farm. But right now, it's looking like North Farm's the key for the United States right here, because they're just holding it, and they're gaining points off of that. And there's eventually, if they keep holding the airstrip and the North Farm like this, they'll be able to just drop some artillery on the bridge and be able to work their way through. So it's looking okay for the United States right now. I'd love to see them try and establish that position on the bridge, however.
And there we go. We got the white. The airport went white there, and it looks like Russia had brought an AA and put it right in that circle. But then here comes the medium choppers clearing out those large, heavy attack Russian choppers for 51P, and immediately the 186th grabs that right back with 2 heavy tanks. These AAs that are back here for Russia that are sitting over here at airport and are just kind of sitting here. I don't know why they're not getting RD'd or cluster bombed or whatever. They must not have enough TA points, but they definitely need to take those out if they want to move those medium choppers around. Here come the large choppers in again, taking shots at that blue flag right there, and it looks like they're going to bring some tanks in. Here are some 4 heavy tanks for 51P moving in on this airport flag.
Let's keep it focused on the airport. Looks like we have a big tank battle. These tanks might get cluster bombed or RD'd soon if they don't move. I'm not sure which player. It's a little bug there. We can't see which player is controlling those tanks, but they're in a fight and looks like they are winning it. They're taking a lot of critical hits, and they have reinforcements on the way. And there we go, moving it back and forth. Remember this game, if you hit tanks in the rear armor, it causes a lot more damage, and there we just saw a little bit of that. Heavy tanks going up against heavy tanks, just knocking out those American heavy tanks. And this looks like the airport's going to go white again really soon. Just let those, just take out that AAA for the Americans, for the Russian team, and there we go. There, it's gone white. Now they just need to take out the other one, and looks like they've captured it. They still have control of the bridge. They need to focus on North Farm, so they have the crop refinery, the duster hangar, and the bridge. They have 3 of 4 possible points. The U.S. are ticking down on the scoreboard, so they need to pick up the pace and recapture these points. We have heavy artillery firing away, and it looks like Russian Hinds are making their way over to that artillery, and they're going to take that out. A few Hellfire missiles and a rocket barrage, and both of these heavies are gone, but not before the Hinds get taken out. Yep, they got taken out by AAA there, but they managed to take down 1 heavy artillery. Looks like all the momentum has been shifted to the Russian. We have infantry, anti-tank infantry hiding along these trees, and they're getting bombarded near the bridge by heavy artillery. Tanks that were just over across the bridge, Innies tanks, Inties, are just getting hammered by, oh, there we go. Nuclear missile going off. That's what we like to see. Didn't see it take out too many enemy units. It took out 1 or 2 helicopters and a few tanks, but that's about it. I'm going to flip this back over to 87. What do you see?
Basically, the red team is what they're doing is in this game you can take your tactical aid points and you can give them to your teammates. So what they did is they took them all and gave them to, it looked like Shifty was the one who nuked, and it takes I think it's 80 points to nuke. So basically they gave him all to Shifty and he could fire off a nuke right away, and he took out a lot of units in that. And it looks like the U.S. team 186 has to regroup now, and they're going to bring some infantry trucks, transport trucks, over to airport. I don't know how successful that's going to be because of how all the stuff over there for that Russian team. Trippletwenty, what's up?
Right now, as you can see, as everyone can see by that big smoke cloud on the screen, the nuke was just launched. You know, they took out some units, like Connor just mentioned, but not enough to really, sway things all the way over to their side. The United States still has North Farm and is not being contested at all over there. If I'm the Russians right now, I got to move all my guys over there, and I got to establish that, get some complete dominance, because right now they have the airstrip, they have the 2 bridge spots, they have their own drop zone points, and the only one they need is North Farm. I don't know why they're not, heading in some heavy artillery in there, dropping, a napalm, maybe a tank buster if they got, enough points. I know they had 80 right there to drop a nuke. Maybe if they got enough, to drop a daisy cutter or a heavy, airstrike right there, that would really help them out. And I just, flying some helicopters in there, try and clear that out as best I can, get some infantry and some armor in there, lay some support down, and just get some complete dominance right now. I mean, they're winning, but, to get them complete and just start ticking that bar down in massive amounts, I think that would be a big help right now.
Alright, so right now the Russian side is winning. We have 3 of the 4 points, and wow, there you go. Looks like we have a double carpet bomb on the bridge. Did that take the bridge out? No, the bridge is still there, but it took out a lot of Russian users. That triple carpet bomb. Oh, wow. That was amazing. And another carpet bomb. There's just carpet bombs going crazy. The 186 infantry have been hogging up all their TA. I think they just called in 6 consecutive carpet bombs and just annihilated every single Russian unit on the map. This could be their break. They could springboard back into this match if they take advantage of this. I'm just taking a look on the screen. Looks like they don't have that many units out on play, but they have even the playing field in terms of units. So let's see if they can forth. Over near the crop refinery, we have an airborne drop. The airborne infantry, very useful, good scouters, but they also have a direct artillery fire attack, which is almost as good as precision artillery, so very useful back there. So let's go ahead and flip this back over to 87. What do you got?
Well, it looks like that U.S. team, that 186, is now going to move in heavy to that middle spot, and we're going to have a showdown with 3-on-3 and tanks. They got some heavy support choppers, though, right next to them, and those choppers need to focus on. There we go. We got the smoke screen up. They're not going to be able to do much for a couple seconds. That smoke screen does not allow the choppers to actually shoot or see through that at all until those tanks are out of that smoke screen. It's almost like a shield for about 10, 11 seconds or so. And it looks like this U.S. team is pushing hard to change these middle flags over. Triple-20, what's up?
Right now, I'm just still in kind of shock and awe after those about roughly 1 billion carpet bombs just laid down the center of the map. As you can see, a whole bunch of craters right here, and a napalm on the bridge from the 186th Infantry. So right now, the United States, they're behind, but it looks like they could be coming out back right here. I mean, one spot in the airstrip is open. They can take that over in a couple seconds, and they got heavy attack helicopters right there taking out the other points. So 2 strategic points right there over at the airstrip are open. I think they're going to drop some infantry or some tanks right now. Try and get those open. They get those 2, it can be evened up right here. Then they just need to focus on a drive through the Russians up the middle right now. By the way, guys, the Russians are the 51st paratroopers, and on the United States we have the 186th Infantry. We're going to refer to them as the USA and the Soviets. So if you hear us refer to that, we're not messing with the team names or anything. It's just easier for us to call. But right now, it's just looking like the USA could come back in this, and I'm not seeing enough, I'm looking for their infantry and their troops and stuff, and I'm not seeing anything from the United States right now. I'm waiting for the pushes and stuff.
Well, if you look over near the airfield, the United States had a few infantry units. I'm not sure whose those are, but they're hiding around in the forests, and the Russian team just had a scout helicopter over there finding them out. I'm not sure where that scout helicopter's gone now, but you ordered a few mission artillery attacks against them, and they took out a few sniper teams, but those look like the Soviets still control the bridge. The Americans have retaken the airfield, but looks like we have artillery requested on someone's position. 3, 2, 1. There you go. A little heavy artillery on one of those heavy tanks, but didn't seem to do that much damage. Still looks like I'm just trying to find a little action from the U.S. side. Oh, we had 2, I believe, I'm not sure what those were. I believe they're daisy cutters, so a few maybe Moabs for you, and another carpet bomb. I believe that was from the Russian team. Missed everything. I don't think it did a single point of damage. But let's go. And another carpet bomb. Looks like the Russian team is taken a page from the U.S. strategy book, saving up for carpet bombs, do that lengthways domination. So I'll flip it back over to you, 87.
Yeah, we got a big chopper battle here in the middle. Those Hinds were actually going after. Now, chopper to chopper, the Hind are pretty much no good, and so is the U.S. Heavy Apache. So they're really just kind of picking at each other right now, playing around. A lot of them were standing still. They should do an air-to-air strike or something like that, take those out, get those out of the way. But the Russian team there, 51P, still owns that middle flag, or not middle flag, but the middle bridge area with a couple heavy tanks in there by Inti, and he's sitting on that flag just chilling, waiting for anything to come down at him, but he's getting artied pretty hard right now. I have seen nothing over at the North Farm, literally nothing. There's been a guy over there sitting, and he's got a couple anti-tank infantry and a couple infantry in the trees, and that's about it. Nothing really going on. Really, most of the action right now is over at Airport, as the 4 tanks are lining up to hit anything coming across, and it looks like we got a nice little tank battle over here with the heavy choppers for the Apaches coming in, 2020.
Yeah, the heavy Apache's coming in right now, and it looked like it was going to be a pretty good tank battle right there. We had heavy tanks versus heavy tanks, 4v4, and all of a sudden that heavy Apache, as you mentioned, came in, wiped out 2 tanks, and now all of a sudden the United States that was at a disadvantage in that battle of the 3v4, you know, is going to come out of it with 2 tanks right now, and the advantage with the heavy helicopters right there. I mean, like you mentioned before, nothing going on at North Farm. Normally when I, pub in this map and I'm a Soviet, that's the first thing I go for. Because if you can get that, you got 2 points right there, you automatically gain, some TA points from that, so you'll be able to, napalm that forest out of the way, and all your infantry from the United States side is just wiped out. I don't know why the Soviets, haven't pushed that harder. There was nobody there. Now, as you can see, there's a few transport helicopters getting dropped down in there, and the Soviets are going to take over one with 1 anti-tank infantry unit left. Goes over there and takes the point for them. They're going to pick up 5 points for that, but just the lack of, combat in North Farm is really surprising to me. I know most of the, the battles go on during, not during, but at the middle of the map during those 2 points at the bridge. But North Farm is really a key to this map, and to not see it, being utilized right now, I don't know what's going on.
Well, there you have it. Over at North Farm, a little last stand by the Russian army. They did manage to break the capture by break the hold by the U.S. side, so now they have to retake the hold and rebuild those defensive emplacements. But for sending 2 infantry units over, I don't know who did it, but they did a good job there. There are 2 minutes and 20 seconds left in this. It looks like the Russian team will walk away with this map in victory, but as in World in Conflict, you can't speak too soon. It does look like the USSR are starting to hoard their TA points. Same with, oh yeah, it's the USSR. They're hoarding their TA points right now. Let's see what they have planned for them. I'm just taking a look at scores. Shifty is in the lead with 1,071. His closest rival on the US side is Cadaver with 809. So scores a little bit more even on the USA side, but the top players for the USSR are definitely doing their job. And we have a big push near the dam. We have a few heavy tanks from the US side being obliterated, and a massive 4 Hinds. We have lots of heavies. Looks like a lot of action. Oh. And a nuke just goes off and obliterates that little Russian push-up. Ashes just launched that nuke, and he did a massive amount of damage. Good nuke placement there. He blew up the bridge as well, which will effectively make it useless until someone uses the TA bridge repair ability. And it looks like you have a Russian scout helicopter scouting the area out, trying to give a little advantage for the artillery. And another nuke gets launched. It's Shifty. And let's see what he. I think he just did a lot of damage. They didn't catch what he hit, but he hit a lot of players according to the game. So that's gonna help out the Russian side. But 40 seconds left. I think this map's gonna go to the Russians.
Yeah, go ahead, 87. No, it's all you.
Well, it looks like right now those Russians are moving the AA in a last-ditch effort with 25 seconds left right now. They're moving some AA into those airport flags, but it's going to be useless. A lot of the anti-air is over there already, and they got a couple infantry units for the U.S. team. But the Russians are winning right now, and I think the Russians are really winning just based on kills and keeping that middle flag. The middle flag looked like it was the key to everything, and they held it the whole time.
Yeah, the two middle spots over at the bridge, yeah, as you can see, game is over right now. The USSR wins. That's the 51st Paratroop Division over the 186th Infantry Division is going to win. So, score of 78.97 to 21.03. It looked a little like the United States was going to make a comeback right there. They launched a few nukes. That whole carpet bomb spree, that was really great to see from both of them. And then it just seemed like the United States had so many opportunities and they didn't come back.
All right, let's flip it to Shanks for a little bit. Shanks, what do you got for us?
Well, great job, guys. Definitely an exciting match to watch. We got another one here coming up. We're going to be switching maps. Same two teams again, just a different match. So everybody stay tuned. We got another one coming up, and it's just been great to watch in the background. The game is very graphics intensive. Looks beautiful on the video stream as well. And I want to make sure that everybody knows that this is being played on Total War. This is World in Conflict, sponsored by My Internet Services. I'd love everybody to get on IRC, on the Game Surge Network. Our IRC channel is #E-rev. Get on, look for me. I'm e-rev Shanks. So PM me with all your shout-out needs, and I'll make sure to get them on the air. Haven't received any as of yet, so we need you World of Conflict people to get online. Give me your shout-outs, and I'll get them out there. But going right back to you guys.
All right, now we're back to hometown. I get earlier.
Commercial.
All right, well, we're going to give you a commercial fast, and then we'll get right back to the action on hometown.
Secured the dam. Captured Totalwar. The technical is now in control of the bridge. They have taken town square.
All right, guys, we're back with the action. Look.
No, you're not. Can you guys see that in-game chat?
Yeah.
You guys are doing a great job, by the way.
The enemy secured the dam.
Yeah, Chad, all I would say is just try to follow what they're doing. A lot of times I'm a little lost. So guys, when you're casting, try to point Chad out as best you can.
Yeah.
All right, guys, sorry about that. Needs to run some commercials. Getting back to the action, it looks like the Russian team has captured the dam right now. They have heavy tanks there. They have Sawmill. They have Southtown. Town Square belongs to the U.S. side, and so does gas station. And as for Bridge is also in Russian hands, so Russians do have the map majority right now. I'm surprised there's been no U.S. action at the bridge that's near their spawn point. All the bridges are still intact. I'm going to kick it to Shanks really quick. Give us a few shout-outs.
Yeah, I just got one coming from Baron. A shout-out to Count It. So he's giving a shout-out to his team, and sorry if I could hear our voices during a commercial, just a little technical glitch there. We'll get that figured out. But back to the action. Let's kick it over to 87. Haven't heard much from you lately.
Well, a lot of this town work is being done by infantry as they're moving 2 tanks across. This Russian team is moving 2 tanks with a couple groups of AT alongside of them, and they seem to be working really well. They're getting handled, though, right now by these medium attack choppers. But once again, the medium attack choppers can't do much against the tanks on the ground. They can slowly kill them, but it's going to take a while. But all this infantry in the middle here are taking up spots in the building. Now, let me tell you this. When you already a building and there's infantry inside of it, the infantry don't get killed until that building's totally dead. They don't get any points taken away. So you can get them out quicker. As soon as you're getting arty, you need to get them out before that building dies, because then yours die. But until then, they don't take any point loss. So it's a good spot to put infantry in a building, and it's really good cover. And right now, it looks like that Russian team's using that real well.
I'm just looking at they're really defending the bridge well with that, and Southtown. Looking over at the Sawmill, again, most of the action is really in this town square. The U.S. forces have the gas station, so that will allow them to swing around to the Russian spawn. Looks like we have a few cluster bombs getting shot down towards the bridge, and they hit nothing. The U.S. again stacking a lot of infantry, and they have I believe 2 players on air, and they're running medium and heavy attack helicopters. And there we go, the U.S. artillery finally getting into gear, bombarding these Russian buildings. So let's go ahead and hand it over to you, Triple.
Yeah, right now it's just, once again, the United States is playing, they're not aggressive enough. I mean, you look at the Soviets right now, by the way, on the Soviet side, it's 51st Paratrooper Division, but they have both caps at the Sawmill. They have the front part of the bridge, the back part of the bridge, and Southtown, you know, just for them to keep getting points from, and they're holding their troops in there, and they're picking up easy points. The United States right now isn't really doing anything. Right now, they're going... Oh, there we go. That's what I wanted to see. All right, United States taking a heavy artillery unit and laying down some missile fire over on the second bridge, on the south cap over on the bridge. As you can see right now, some medium tanks trying to work their way in there. Now this is what I wanted to see from the United States before in the last map, and they didn't do, is, you know, actually see it and execute some pushes into the other side of the map. It seemed like they were just trying to take, you know, what points were on their side and just waiting, you know, for something to happen that didn't, and that's why they lost the last map. So you can see right now, it's kind of 50-50. It was way over before in favor of the Soviets, but right now it's going even. Quick little roster rundown for you guys if you're just tuning in right now. We have the 51st Paratrooper Regiment versus the 186th Infantry Regiment. On the Paratrooper Regiment, we have Intai, Blazing Kami, Shifty 17, Firebomb, Caddyshack, and Miller. Over on the 186th. We have Free, Cadaver, Boom Shakalaka, GR Thor, Ashes, and Ak. Right now, the leader on the Soviets is Intai, and on the United States, it is Free with a score of 470. Now back to Connor with some more analysis of this matchup.
Alright, this is what you see a lot on this map. The middle bridge has been destroyed. Now TA is going to be needed to repair it. And it's just a question of which team is really... Oh, there we go. A nuke has just been launched by Blazing Kami. He launched it right in the middle of Town Square, and he's going to obliterate all those buildings, doing a fantastic job. Well-placed nuke. That's a common nuke spot you'll see in any pub server, because you're bound to get at least 5 units in that area. and now the Soviets they've already repaired the bridge. They are just waiting for that nice teamwork and execution as they start pushing units over. Oh, and there we go. The U.S. trying to stop them just used one laser bomb on the bridge, another laser bomb, that bridge is gone. The U.S. do not want these Soviets back across this bridge. They've been really aggressive. The dam, which was Soviet territory earlier, is now back in the hands of the U.S. They've completely fortified it. Anti-tank, anti-infantry, and AAA. This nuke is still in effect, so it's going to be a little bit fuzzy screen swim. And the Soviets have maintained control of the bridge, and they've lost their temporary bridge. Has just been taken out by laser bombs from the U.S. team. Looks like USSR is really over near the gas station, not making any attempts. They really just want this middle town, but I'm not sure it's going to happen unless they launch another nuke there. There's a lot of US activity there. They have a lot of tanks and a few medium helicopters. The Russian team, I'm taking a look for where they are massing, but they're busy in a battle near the sawmill, and there we go. Freak launches a nuke, and that just obliterated a large Russian infantry garrison. There's about 5 or 6 infantry squads held up in buildings on Southtown, and they're all gone. And that's going to be it. The Americans, if they can repair this bridge, they have enough units over there to push across and retake Southtown if they wanted to. Now flip this back over to 87.
Yeah, that town just got wiped out. If you look now, the town looks nothing like it did when it started. It's nothing but craters and blackness. And basically all the fighting right now has been in the middle, which doesn't surprise me much since there's only 6 players in the server on each team. But really the Russian team has the hill over there, and the gas station's controlled by the U.S. So all this fighting is in the middle. That bridge is down right now, so there's not much going on except for the Russians are dropping in some players, some teams, and it looks like there's some choppers moving around back there and some heavy tanks that are going to flank around the outside to the gas station. But that's about it right now. The action has stopped after those 2 nukes, and no one has really a thought of what's going on because the flags in the middle there are white, as you can see, and no one controls them. Right now, the U.S. kind of have the bleed right now as far as kills, and there's 9 minutes and 42 seconds left.
Yeah, it's getting really close right now, and you know, I've been waiting for that aggressive play. I mentioned it before, and it finally happened from the United States. They dropped 2 nukes right in the middle of town. Worked out amazing, and as you can see, they had the lead when they did that. Great strategy by them. They blew out the bridge. They're going to take all the points right now on their side of the map, so they'll be gaining slow points because now all of a sudden the Soviets can't get in and take the north bridge strategic point, and they can't get over on the hill to take that one as well, unless, which is what they're going to do right now, which is what I thought they were going to do, is they're going to swing over, take gas station, and now they got to try and work their way in through the town through the east side. It's going to be interesting on how this one turns out. The United States has the edge right now, but if the Soviets can make a hard push, I could see them taking through the town and coming in with a win here.
Well,
they got to push that AA.
Yeah, and I've just been PM'd right now. Shanks, what's going on with the updates?
Well, not a whole lot yet. I got one shout out here, one from 51P Plexity, you know, basically saying hi, USSR, that Plexity is rooting for them, and also tell Shifty that he has some awesome nukes, so good shout out there from Plexity. But that's it, folks. Again, get on IRC, on pound e-rev, give me your shout outs, and don't forget, our website is www.e-rev.tv. Back to you guys.
I was taking a look. Looks like the Russians are making their move. I haven't seen a lot of armor activity from them. And, oh, wow, a lot of cluster bombs. We had, oh, their bridge has just been taken out by a laser bomb. The Russians just cannot keep that bridge up. But it was up enough to let 5 heavy tanks and 1 light tank, or 4 heavy tanks and 1 medium tank over. They're going to try and take this town square. There's a few machine gun fortifications they need to take care of. But they're running into a little resistance, more than what they originally planned on, I assume. And the Russians have taken gas station. One of the Russian infantry players is rushing a lot of infantry over. We have anti-tank, we have normal infantry, and this is going to really hurt these heavy tanks and medium attack helicopters. You can already see the medium attack helicopters getting out of there. The tanks, they can't do much. They're just going to have to sit there and wait it out, do as much damage as they can before they're completely obliterated. Looks like the Russian push into town square didn't go that well. Medium helicopters rotated over, and they're picking apart these heavy tanks, so no decap there, but the Russians did manage to retake the bridge. Sawmill is now being taken down by the American team. They have a lot of infantry in the trees, and this is what you see a lot. A lot of players, especially players who like infantry, will just hoard their infantry over on the sawmill, because that's basically infantry territory. There's so many trees, they'll just be nice and invisible, and you need to get scout helicopters just to find them.
Yeah, I'm watching that. There's that tank battle there in the middle, and it was like 2-on-1, 2 Russians against 1 U.S. tank, and they couldn't take him down. When you guys are playing this game, you got to micro your tanks. You got to swing one around back of the other to hit them in from behind. It's a lot more damage taken if you do that. And I see a napalm up there on the hill, and now there's a pretty good fight for this hill flag up here with a couple medium choppers for the U.S. team trying to take this flag away from the Russian team.
Well, that napalm did quite a number on the U.S. infantry. For the 186 infantry, a few of their units were just completely wiped out. This battle for the sawmill is getting intense. A lot of infantry on infantry combat.
Yeah, as you can see right now, I went, just 2 napalm strikes landed right at the sawmill. As Connor mentioned before, if you're on the United States or on the side of the 186th Infantry, like what's going on right now, you want to push your infantry through a dam and get them up on that sawmill, because there's just so much, forest, and everywhere you can think you can hide your infantry. You can put them in that pavilion over there as well, and it's just a great place for infantry to just hide and hang out. If helicopters come, if you got regular infantry, they can get the rockets out, take out the helicopters. If you got anti-tank, they come up that one mountain, you put them in the first one closest to the Soviet drop zone, and tanks can't get up. It's just a really great spot for infantry to go. As you can see right now, the Soviet team, the 51st Paratroop Division, is going to be taken back the sawmill right now with no 186th Infantry units in there at all. They're going to try and work their way in. That's 3 heavy tanks right now from the Soviets. Looks like, well, they were going to go towards dam, but they ran into some anti-tank infantry. They get the kill there, and they're going to be working their way into dam. Right now, it's in favor of the Americans with about 4 minutes and 20 seconds left. I think the Russians are going to make a strong push right here. They might be saving on some artillery, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a nuke in these next couple minutes.
I'm just taking a look. Sawmill back in Russian hands. Gas station lost. It's gone back to the 186. They have a lot of tanks over there and a few medium helicopters. They could take advantage of this and push through there. From my perspective, there's not much in the way of stopping them from doing a complete swing around and taking Southtown. It looks like they're going to hold off on that. The Russian team, still with bridge in Southtown and Sawmill, looks like they're trying to push down to the dam, and they already have 1 heavy tank taking off the cap on dam, so if they can get 1 more unit there, they'll be good, and they'll have another point. Right now, it's really a back and forth battle in my opinion, but we do have 3 minutes on the clock, 3 minutes and 30 seconds to be exact. Another bridges are, I didn't even catch this before, but right off the bat looks like the Russians did take off the initial bridge for the American team, and middle bridge is still down, so I'll go ahead and flip this back over to 87 and I'll finish you guys off.
Yeah, that U.S. team now is pushing, looks like 3 tanks over there, or no, I'm sorry, 4 heavy tanks into the middle flag, and they're going to make a strong push into this middle. Those tanks are shooting across that water, and there's some heat rounds. That's an offensive ability those tanks have, taking out some of those buildings and smaller vehicles over there. That's what you use those heat rounds for. But they have a large opposition with the Heinzer sitting right there, and here come a couple of the offensive abilities. Those are almost like large tow missiles coming from the Hind, and those do a great damage. But They're popping smoke, and they got coverage here with the medium choppers coming in and taking some shots at that hind. And it looks like they're going to grab this other flag on the other side here of the water as well.
Yeah, right now over by gas station, there's a whole bunch of helicopters right there, a whole bunch of stuff getting blown up. A daisy cutter has been dropped on the side of, let's see here. Yes, that was the 186th Infantry dropping that daisy cutter over by the gas station, eliminating just all Soviet forces. Looks like they're going to cap that point. And, okay, let's see where the Soviets got all these points. Okay, they got one in Southtown. They got both up at Sawmill, and that's basically it. Nothing much for the Soviets, and it looks like that bar, yeah, that bar is just ticking down slower and slower for the United States. I don't know if we're going to go to an overtime with this or if it finishes in a tie, but right now it's looking like it's going to be a 1-1 score at the end of this matchup. We got a minute and 40 seconds left on the clock. Shanks, what do you got for us?
Well, I got one more shout out here, one from Insider Young Gun. His shout out is to all my staff at Frag Insider. So there you go, Young Gun. There's your shout out. And again, you're watching Total War World in Conflict, sponsored by myinternetservices.com. Back to you, Connor.
Or if Connor isn't there, I guess he's kicking it back to me.
Sorry about that.
Oh, there's Connor. All right, Connor, take it away.
Sorry about pushing my wrong push to talk there. Daisy Cutter did get launched over near the sawmill, and now it has a point decapped. We have a minute left. Looks like this will go to the U.S. side. There's a little helicopter battle going off near the dam, and the U.S. come out on top there. Helicopter player, I'm not sure who it is. I can't see his name, but he's been doing a fantastic job with those medium helicopters. He's doing a lot of hit and fade attacks, and he's been doing a great job keeping the Russian hinds in check. Taking a look, looks like the Russians, I don't know what they're going to do. They don't have time to really move their tanks across this map, but they're doing whatever they can. They're trying to send as many units down to the sawmill and recapture it. That's what they just did, and there we go. The sawmill just went nuclear. Ashes, taking out a lot of players, taking out a few infantry units and some tanks, and decapping the point. The ability of the nuke to go ahead to decap points there. And there you go. 3, 2, 1, and that's it. Looks like the Americans walk away with this. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats. USA wins with a flag percentage of 95.23 to the Russians 4.77. Top scores for the 186 is Fret with 1,223. Second place, 51 Paratroop Division, Shifty 7. And third place, 186 Infantry, Thor. And that's your score rundown.
Yeah, it was a really close matchup between both teams. What do you think went wrong for the Soviets on that map, 87?
I don't know. You know what? They didn't push hard enough, I don't think, in the middle, and they could have done it a couple times. There was that one instance where we saw both nukes in the middle, and we saw that bridge getting taken out, and that really killed them. They needed to put that bridge back up and get across, take that middle, and then hold that hill flag up there at Sawmill, and that killed them, because as soon as the U.S. took that middle flag, they immediately held on as well as they could to gas station, and they actually took over Sawmill for a couple seconds as well, which really pushed the bleed. But they had most of those flags in the middle, which was just killing them.
Well, the Russians did try on that mid-bridge to rebuild it a few times, and they sent tanks across. The U.S. were on top of it. They kept a few TA points, enough to call in multiple laser bomb strikes, and they just would not let that bridge go back up once they had the advantage over the gas station and the dam.
But it looks like what I'm seeing in right now coming in is there's going to be a lot of, what is that, 3 or 4 of the players over there for the actual U.S. side. The U.S. side's going to be the 186. The Russian side's the 51P. It's going to be the same lineup. But basically, there's going to be 3 guys over there on that farm area, and they're going to hold that right off the bat. And there's going to be, it looks like a battle here in the airport real quick.
Well, it looks like we're on farmland now. Just to let you guys know, this is the tiebreaker. The Americans won a map and the Russians won a map. So now we're back on the farmland, which the Russians won last time, 51P. So now U.S. forces have taken North Farm. Russian on the crop refinery. The mid-bridge has gone to the Russian side, and the hangar has gone to the American side. But here come a whole swarm, the hornet's nest of USSR amphibious transports coming across. They're full of infantry, so that's kicker to boot. Oh, wow. And here we go. This is really going to hurt the U.S. side. There's so many units over there. Nice team play by the armored player and the infantry player to have those two work together like that. You don't see that too often in pubs. And there you go. The amphibious transport's getting picked apart, but here come the anti-tanks. They're going to go ahead and take away these heavy tanks quite quickly, and looks like the Russians are off to a fantastic start.
Yeah, the 51st paratrooper right now just came with a whole swarm, like about 1 billion troops, just came over through that river and just killing everything. As you can see, a napalm strike there, even wiping out the woods of any infantry. As you can see, some helicopters going to come in right now, but I don't think it'll help as much because, you know, there is heavy anti-air right there. As you can see, all the halos getting taken out right there except for one. So the Russians right now just rushing everything. They have both the bridge caps. North Farm is the United States as well. As you can see, the United States is going to move some heavy tanks, try and work the flank on this 51st P troops over at the bridge. But right now, just a great push by the Soviet forces coming into the airstrip, picking up the fast kills on all the aircraft that was over there, wiped all of them out, and just it was just beautiful. A thing of just poetry in motion, per se, by the Soviets just coming in there, taking the airstrip. They got guys in the crop duster bunker right now. They got both things in the middle by the bridge, and all they're looking at is they need to take North Farm, and it could be complete dominance right now, and it's just an easy win for the Soviets.
Yeah, definitely. They came in there and just swarmed everything. The way they did that, though, is they kept all their units moving. You don't want to keep your units still at all. You want to constantly keep them moving in this game because they're going to get bombed, they're going to get napalmed, and he kept his infantry moving, and those two napalm strikes that you see in the ground over there in the airport both missed. So now they're going to have to play a little defense. So here comes the U.S. team again, taking 1 point back at the airport and working towards that second point. All they have is a group of infantry in front of them and some AA that are ranging around in the back trying to pick off some of those choppers. Connor?
I'm just taking a look. Looks like the Russians' attempt to push North Farm didn't go out so well. The U.S. forces have rebounded on this airfield and they've retaken it. The Russian team, Inti, trying to get some of his heavy tanks in there, get behind the American heavy tanks, and there we go. We have some USSR medium helicopters and no heavy helicopters, but there you go. Medium helicopters and AAA working in teamwork, tandem there, doing a fantastic job. And USSR has broken the U.S. hold on the airfield. Let's see if they can completely take it back, though. You have three heavy tanks going up against 2 U.S. heavy tanks. But they have 1 5th level tanks. Those are pretty hardcore tanks to defeat. And here comes some medium AAs taking those out. It looks like the Russians will be able to retake the aircraft hangar. They still have. Oh wow! While he's talking, looks like the U.S. forces have taken the crop refinery, and they're setting up defenses. They're just sitting back. They're running to no resistance. So this is a really even game right now. Both sides have 2 zones captured.
Yeah, it was looking really in favor for the Soviet side. They had that great push, like we mentioned before, around the airstrip. Got that with ease. Actually, a lot easier than I thought they would. But now that the United States, you know, they don't have anything on the right side, but it's evened up right now with 4 navigation points to 4. I mean, the Soviets right now, 51st Paratroop Division has the airstrip and they have the bridge, but the United States has North Farm and the crop refinery, so nothing really going on right now over at the crop refinery. As you can see right now, as soon as I said that, of course, cue the tanks to come in. We got 2 heavy tanks, a couple light tanks, and a medium tank trying to work their way into the crop refinery, trying to make something happen for that Soviet team, gain, you know, the momentum. As you can see, some medium Yeah, that these medium helicopters are going to be working their way in as well, trying to help the cause over there at the crop refinery. Well, I shouldn't say it's pretty even. It's dead even right now between the teams, and with 14 minutes left on the clock, we got a long way to go, 87. Who do you think is going to come out on top with this one?
I think 51P. 51P's got to take this crop refinery back, and it looks like they're doing the job right now as they've pushed a little bit of armor in, and they have those medium choppers that are really kind of ranging around, just taking shots at these couple tanks that are still left on this flag. They got to take this back, and they'll have the advantage again. But as I say that, the U.S. are again taking this flag over here at airport, and they've split it 1-1 over there. The AA is doing a good job ranging around, and the medium choppers are going to come back over here to help out for this airport flag right now. Connor?
Right now, if the Russians just get one big TA, a nuke or a carpet bomb on the crop refinery, they may have a chance of retaking it, but the U.S. is doing a fantastic job of just reinforcing just little things like light tanks with their tow missile do almost as much damage as a medium tank. So they're just calling in TA from the support branch of the TA tree, and it looks like USSR it looks like they're just ignoring crop refinery right now, and they're focusing their efforts on maybe getting the Duster hangar back and maybe pushing North Farm, but it doesn't look like North Farm is a possibility. There's a lot of defense set up. We have a lot of infantry and artillery units in that area. So I think the Russians, oh, there we go. Speak of the devil, a nuke being launched by Shifty 17, and that just did quite a number. He took down a lot of units with that. That was just an amazing play by him. And now the Russians can rebound once they get this crop refinery. They seem to put a little more work on fortification because the U.S. were able to retake or take the crop refinery earlier on in the match with no problem at all. Just 4 heavy tanks wandered their way up there and captured it.
Yeah,
you know
right
what
now.
I've noticed?
Go ahead, 87.
Sorry. You know what I've noticed is that I don't see much arty anymore. These guys aren't going with the artillery pieces because all of them basically have to be offensive. If they want to win this map, they need to take flags. Go ahead, Trip.
Just a quick comment on the nuke right there. Nuke was dropped, cleared out the crop refinery. That's just laid to dust right now. That's what a nuke should do, and that's what it did. Did job perfect. Right now, Soviets are going to take the crop refinery back, so that's 2 points for them. They have the airstrip as well, so right now the only points the United States has left, that's 186th Infantry. They only have the North Farm remaining. If I have any TA points, I'm going to drop them on the North Farm right now. Try and clear it out and just try and mount this comeback right now. They're coming back slowly, but to get it faster, I think it would be a greater thing with 11 minutes and 10 seconds left on the clock. Shanks, you got anything for us?
Yeah, actually got a couple shout-outs. One from the organizer of this whole thing that we're watching tonight is from My Internet Services Airborne. His shout-out is good work to 51st Paratroop Infantry Regiment and also to the 186th Infantry as well. So there's a shout-out to him. Also got one from W. Mexi. Shout-out to 87 from Mexi, pro shoutcaster in the making. I love you, 87. So there you go, 87. Those are my two shout-outs. Here watching Total War World and Conflict, sponsored by MyInternetServices.com, and we'll go back to you, 87. Flattery.
Oh, that's so nice of him. Anyways, we got a good chopper battle over here. Mediums versus mediums. You see the sidewinders going off, and the flares are popping. It's an important factor in the game here with the medium choppers is to pop those flares whenever you see the other Cobra or whatever else is shooting at you. Just about to shoot at you, you pop those flares, and about 75% of the time they miss, and it's a good defensive use. And here comes another sidewinder in, and they are rocking those medium choppers on those Cobras, and the Cobras got to back off a little bit as the Russian side is taking this airport.
Yeah, bombs being dropped right now. Cluster bombs just laid all over, as it says right now, all over the bridge. So that site's cleared. As you can see, there's a few heavy tanks from the 186th moving into that spot. As you can see right now, they're going to pick up 2 strategic points at the bridge. So the United States trying to mount a comeback right now. That bar right in the middle, ladies and gentlemen, it's leaning over on the Soviet side by maybe 2 millimeters. It's coming back now in favor of the United States. I think if the United States can go over there and just lay down some TA, either a napalm or a tank buster, I think would do the job. Even heavy artillery would be great at this point. Just to lay it down on the airstrip, they can get over there, get those 2 points, and then all of a sudden just mount it back right now. Just a quick little score recap for you guys. Over on the 51st Paratrooper Regiment, we have Blazing Kami leading his team with a score of 729. After him is Shifty 17 with a score of 685. And then Intai Miller, Firebomber, and Caddyshack rounding out the 51P lineup. And then over on the 186th, we have Freet leading his team with a score of 633. GR Thor with a score of 632. His points going up right now as we speak. And Boom Shakalaka, Cadaver, Ashes, and Ack rounding out the roster for the 186th. Connor, what do you have to say about these recent updates and all these changes in the game so far?
Well, I've played this game since the pre-alpha, and it's amazing. I love the new bridge tier ability. Before, what the original plan was is to have a tank, a bridge lane tank, just lay the bridge, but I just ran into a whole mess of balance issues, being able to make just completely take out rivers and such, but the balance of the game has gone up tremendously. Infantry are useful again, but getting right back to the gameplay, it looks like a USSR player was amassing a few tanks, like you said, Trip, to make an attempt at North Farm, but looks like he's recalling his mass tanks to go help out the bridge. It seems to be a more strategically important area for the Russian team right now. They still have that far. Oh, they just lost part of the crop hangar. Let's see if they can retake it. They just need to move that heavy tank out of there, and they can retake it. But here comes some medium helicopters. But it looks like the Russians, the bridge has been destroyed. The Russians just lost the side they're holding. We have some precision artillery landed on the Russian side of the bridge, but I'm not sure what this player is going to do. He just moved all his tanks over there, if he's going to go back to North Farm or not. But all the action right now is happening at the hangar. This seems to be the most contested point in both times this map has been played by these two teams. And looks like the Russians have retaken it. You know, bridge is no longer being held by the Russian team. I think they're just going to try for a pair drop. And there we go, Fret with a cluster bomb, taking out a few key tanks on the bridge. And the hangar still, there we go, medium helicopter fight. It looks like the Russians are definitely coming out on top on this one. Two American choppers taken out straight away. They're popping their flares. They're just going to stay for the fight. They're not going to bother retreating at all. There we go. Looks like the Russians will walk away with the victory on this, and as 87 said, this is dead even.
Yeah, definitely. Those Mi-28s just went in and mopped up those Cobras, and they needed to. That last one's about to go down as those Havocs are just tearing into the Cobras as they're going to move back over to this airport flag, and this Russian team of, it looks like P-51 has the advantage right now, and Shifty's on the top again. Shifty right now is my early player of the game, I think, as far as he's doing awesome work. I think he's doing a tank, a little bit of tanking, and then also he's running those nukes in and out. Trip?
Yeah, Shifty right now, I was going to mention player of the match at the end of it. Right now, leading candidate for me, like you said, is Shifty. He's just all over those cluster bombs, those nukes, those daisy cutters, anything to do with high explosions. Seems like Shifty's the man. He gets the points from his teammates, and he just knows exactly where to put them, picks up big kills, and that allows his forces to move in right now. As we said before, it was dead even. Now, when looking at the score bar, it's going more and more over to the Soviet side. They got about an inch and a half over on the United States flag side, so with about 5 minutes left, it's looking good for the Soviets. If they can just hold that, and yes, I was going to say repair the middle bridge, which they just did, and be able to take that other point, yes, they're going to cap that point as well. It's looking really good for them right now. I mean, Connor, what do you think about what's going to be the turnout and finale of this game?
Well, I think the Russians are on the right. There's 4 minutes and 40 seconds left. If the Russians keep this up, they will win. But when dealing with the crop hangar and the middle bridge, you gotta realize the crop hangar is right on the US's drop zone doorstop, so it's really hard for the USSR to maintain control of the rest of the map. They have to push forth so much effort on holding the crop hangar. It's just odd. And here comes a nuke, landed right in the middle, and it nuked the bridge. That's Thor. Thor launched a nuke. Did it take out the bridge? It decapped the points for sure, but let's see if the bridge is still intact. I don't think it will be, but like I said, the crop hangar has also been lost. There's 2 U.S. heavy tanks that decapped the point. There's a lot of Russian medium and heavy tanks over there, but they need to swing over there and move those heavy tanks off there. And like you said, no action again at North Farm. In the first time we played this map, there's a little bit of action, just a few infantry units, but there's nothing happening at North Farm at all. It's all been Duster Hangar and mid-bridge, and mid-game there's a little action at the crop refinery. And the crop refinery actually has been taken by Paradrop by the U.S. team, so this could go back to their favor. I can see their flag slowly but surely ticking away. They have they have an anti-tank unit and they have an airborne unit moving around there. And here comes some heavy helicopters, and that didn't last long. The USSR is swiftly taking it back.
Yeah, definitely. That crop is going down now. USSR have almost complete control of it now, and the fight is over at airport right now. Again, the fight's been at airport all day. They got some AA over here shooting at these medium choppers, and the medium choppers are kind of shifting around, but they are getting nailed. You got to get out of that situation, drop flares and get out of there if that's happening. And they have only 1 heavy tank moving in with some AA in behind it, and actually there's 2 heavy tanks, I'm sorry, 3 heavy tanks now. And to make that 2, one just got nailed by a bunch of AT infantry, and it looks like the AA is going to bug out and leave nothing but that AT infantry there to try to hold those flags.
Yeah, right now it's looking dead even between both teams. Again, like I said, 51st Parachute Regiment, they were leaning over. It looked like they were going to win this, you know, by maybe a clear margin. Right now, it came back after the United States took that crop refinery via airdrop troopers. The bar came all the way back, and it's almost dead even right now. It's in favor of the 51st. However, we're going to have to see how this turns out. 2 minutes remaining. There is a heavy push right now by the bridge. That bridge is repaired, so I'm going nuts right now. There is heavy tanks and medium tanks that are going to be pushing up. They're going to get both of the bridge things, but then they're going to be wiped out by cluster bombs courtesy of Freet on the 186th. Wow, this is just going back and forth. You probably can tell in my voice, it's right down on the wire, and the Soviets are now pulling ahead with 1 minute and 30 seconds left. Connor, what went on there? That was just amazing what happened.
I'm just still gaspy at Freet's cluster bomb there. I put him in the lead and score, taking out 6 tanks. But just to note, the U.S. are actually playing man down. I didn't notice it until now. I looked back at the scoreboard, noticed something was wrong, counted the players, and surely enough, they're playing man down, but they just got one of their players back. But like you said, the game's now pretty dead even, but looks like the Russians have pushed the flag far enough. There's a minute left. I don't think they're going to win this, so I think we'll wait for the final scoreboard, but looks like 51P, our team to win, is going to win this. And there we go. We have battles going at the airport still, and a lot of NACOM strikes down. I think the U.S. team knows it's over, so we're just going to have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, it's just not looking good right now for the United States 186th. They tried. I mean, it was a great thing. They lost the first round on farmland. They came back on hometown, did a great job of neutralizing that middle bridge and just cut off the Soviets. They couldn't do anything. The 51st was like, how are we supposed to win this when we can't get through the middle of town? They just dropped a nuke on that bridge, and it was just done. As you can see right now, it's 3, 2, 1, and the 51st Paratroop Division is going to be the winner of the Total War World and Conflict Tournament, sponsored by MyInternetServices.com. It was a really great matchup all the way tonight. As you can see, the 51st beating the 186th by a score of 62 to 37% on this last matchup. Any final thoughts, 87 on this, or 86 on this? Sorry.
You know, this is what I think how they won that one. There's a lot of awesome chopper stuff, and it looked like that Russian team definitely had the dominant choppers as far as they just had a medium group going around killing the other Cobras, and that's how they gained the advantage on every fight, and a lot of good tanking work as well. But I think those choppers were one of the main factors of keeping the U.S. team back off that airport flag, and then eventually cleaning them off that other refinery flag as well. So awesome work by the 51P. Connor?
It's Connor there. Okay, I guess I'll take it now, guys.
Sorry about that.
Oh, go ahead, Connor.
Oh, sorry about that. Keep pushing my wrong button. All right, we're going to go ahead and run a quick commercial, and then we'll be back, do a little bit of match recap, go over what players we think had the biggest impact. So let's go ahead and run it to a commercial.
Mute.